might not be able to control your altitude, but you can choose your sight line.
Oh, what do you mean by that, Dave? Fortune cookie, Dave.
The valley is a lower altitude than the peak. The peak is a higher altitude, right? We understand that. And so sometimes God says, hey, we're going for a walk. Or life says, hey, we're going for a walk. And you notice that your altitude is decreasing rapidly, and you are going downhill. And this isn't maybe is what you were hoping for. So pilots, they have this whole set of instruments. They call it a six-pack. Just like me. It was kind of one. But they call it a six-pack. So these instruments are very interesting. Right here in this top first corner, you have just your speed. It's in knots. It's how fast you can tie knots. I don't understand knots, but it's speed is what I'm trying to say. Down here, this is your turn coordinator. Now, we think that's a little bit funny maybe, but you can see the little happy little plane in this bottom corner, the white little plane, and as you tip, you're turning left, and as you go tip this way, you're turning right. And I had a chance to go with my cousin Dale in a small little twin-engine Cessna when he was getting his license. If you ever want to experience fear, drive with somebody who's practicing to get their license. That's a good way to do that. But he showed me something, because in particular, he was practicing to get his instrumentation license. And so he showed me something. He took us up into the clouds, and he says, okay, now, don't look at the instrument panel. Just tell me what you feel. And he sat for a minute, and he's flying for a minute. He says, okay, now what do you feel? And I said, we're banking to the right. And he says, now look at the instrument panel. And I looked over at the instrument panel. And you know what? We were not banking to the right. We were not banking to the left either. We were going perfectly straight as far as that goes. But we were going straight down. You know, it's super helpful to have one of those turn coordinators, because when you're just up there, you know, you don't know. You honestly don't know. When it's cloudy or foggy, you don't know. And if you don't trust your instruments, this is exactly how bush pilots bite the dirt. And it's not recommended. Okay, the next little one is basically a compass. That's a cool compass. I would like that compass, but I don't think it'll fit on a little watch. And then over on the bottom here, your climb, it tells you how fast you're going up or how fast you're going down. And up in the top corner is your actual altitude. Okay, the little dial, happy. But the fun one, this is the one you see on all the video games, isn't it? The fun one is right there in the middle. And those aren't actually sights on this. This is just your attitude indicator. It's your attitude indicator. This is how you land a plane, right? Everything else will get you close. But without an attitude indicator, you still crash. Your altitude says that you're 5 feet off the ground. Your turn coordinator says that you're balanced. Without an attitude indicator, boom, you bounce. Bounce isn't what you want. What does that mean, attitude? Why do they call it that? Because that horizon there tells you if your nose is up. Have you ever heard of somebody who's stuck up? Or if your nose is down, right? And you don't want to come and land like this, and you don't want to come and land like this. You want to land with a good attitude, right? You might not be able to choose your altitude, but you can choose your attitude. You can choose your attitude. You can choose your sight line. Am I looking down at my feet going, I hate being in the valley, and I don't work in the valley? Or are you looking up to see, why has God got me in the valley? What am I supposed to learn while I'm here in the valley? And so that's my last little thing, number 5. Observe, engage, and gain everything you can. Everything you can. Observe what's going on around you. Engage. You will be surprised how often in the valley you find somebody. God will be there, and we'll talk about that next week, but you'll be surprised how often you find somebody. Somebody that God either sent you to, or somebody that God sent to you. You can learn so much in the valley. I wish I could tell you about the things that I've learned on the mountaintops. And I probably could, because it probably wouldn't take long, because I probably haven't learned very much up there. I've appreciated the wonderful vistas and the experience and the feeling of being at the top, but I've learned a lot more at the bottom, right? And this is how life comes to us. This is honestly how life comes to us. So open up the eyes. Observe what's around. It's surprising. That's where often there's refreshment. Is actually in the valley. That's where the cool water runs off the mountaintops. Right?